Alright, welcome everybody to the Aquinas Esports match. It's going to be our first Overwatch match of the season. Participating in GLEC, we got Aquinas here coming up against Northwood. Aquinas went 1-8 last season. Northwood went 2-7. We made some roster changes, picked up a great player named Knight, Skull, Audrey, and she's going to be playing on our DPS role. And it's going to be huge. You guys are going to be seeing some great gameplay from that as well. I am your caster from last season, Benzing, and I am here with a brand new caster.
Hi, I'm Darian Corgan. I was previously on the roster last season. You probably recognize me as Dragon Keeper.
Yep, and he was playing as our tank. Do you know who's going to be filling in for that tank position this season?
So we're going to be seeing a lot of tank gameplay from G-Dragon and Skyhawk, being Matt and Roberto.
Alright. I just want to say real quick, I'm looking at the voice meter. I'm seeing you peak a little bit, so if maybe it's something on the hardware we could do, or maybe if just moving the mic away, we need to be very delicate to our viewers' ears. Skyhawk baby all day. Yes indeed, sir. Yes, sir. Alright, we don't see anything quite yet with the game starting up. It is looking like, I don't know if I'm supposed to give a spoiler or not, but it does look like we may be playing on Rialto.
Maps are always subject to change, but Rialto is one of my favorite maps. It's one of the newer maps in the series of Overwatch add-ins. Rialto has a few areas where environmental kills are possible. There's a bridge in the middle of the map, a little ocean on the side at the end, and just before you start, there's a bridge that you kind of have to fight over for a first objective.
Yeah, right. Knowing that environmental kills are a potential within this map, as we have seen last season within Aquinas, they are pretty hard set in their roster, or actually in their hero picks, I should say. Do you think they will try to adapt around that for any map that has the potential for environment kills, like maybe even Elios? Like, do you think they will try to swap out for a Roadhog or a Lucio, or do you think they're going to be set in their ways?
So, in the current meta, there's a few different ways you can go about environmental kills on maps. It's always good to have an advantage on the other team, but if you're playing against heroes that have movement abilities that can kind of overtake your crowd control, you can kind of work against that. It kind of depends on what the meta is. It also depends on what your player base can play. A lot of Lucio mains love environmental kills, so they'll go for like wall rides and slides and boops. You'll probably see a little bit of that.
Dude, that's
the map seems to have changed to King's Row, though, which there is opportunities for environmental kills. It just comes later on in the map. That can probably affect our decision on our roster, our current hero picks.
Right. If we do stick here with King's Row, I am excited to see if they take the strategy of, booking it into the first point on offense, or if they're going to try to get some picks from long range and then move in one by one after they get that pick and just try to overwhelm, swarm Northwood here, all that.
Right. The center, choke point in this map is very, very tight. There's kind of only one entrance and one exit.
Yeah.
To the first part of this map, which makes that kind of decision you have to make if you're going to push in to get a pick or wait for it. It's most of the time better to, on this map, wait for offense to get a kill first. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably see a little bit of that from Aquinas, but you never know. You never know what opportunity when a head pops out over a bush or something and a random headshot swings the whole game a different direction.
And yeah, besides that, from my point of view as a caster here, watching people play on this King's Row, I'm just seeing a lot of back and forth, and they just, as the clock starts to tick down, the pressure starts to build, and that's where the adrenaline kicks in for these players, and they start to get a little bit more accurate with their aim. They get to be more vocal in their call-outs, start focusing the other enemies, and then that decision-making just becomes all the much quicker. And then that's where the game really starts to pick up. Like, in the very beginning, if you don't make the first rush, it's going to be a little bit drawn out.
Oh, definitely. Defense for this first point can kind of be a little bit strange. I've seen that most of the time it's really hard to kind of resurge. All right, we're entering the first match now.
Yep, we are going to be going into King's Row as you see here, and hopefully we're going to see maybe a new lineup. I'm not up to date on what the team has been playing. I'm not sure if you would know who's been playing what.
I've been playing a lot with the team all throughout this first beginning part of the season, and we have seen tremendous changes. Entire rosters have changed with recent nerfs to Doomfist and buffs to Baptiste and different comps working. And we're going to see a lot of differences in the way we were playing last semester, probably on both sides.
Alright, so definitely seeing a lot of similar stuff. I haven't, it wasn't until the very later games that Aquinas started picking up Baptiste as their other healer. They definitely ran a lot of Moira, definitely ran a lot of Lucio. Orisa definitely has been a solid pick, and as you see, we do have a new player here playing Orisa. Druid is no longer playing on the Orisa, no longer attending Aquinas, so we have got Amp playing the Orisa here, and we got the screen completely messed up off-center. So if you just want to watch the top half of the game, that's what you... If this is what you came for, this is what you're going to be getting.
We're experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties.
So yeah.
So, in this first point, it's really vital that nobody sticks their head out too far. And if they do, our team's kind of got to be ready for it.
Right, and we got a double shield out here, which is going to be providing a lot of cover for our Junkrat to be lobbing in damage to their shields. We're going to be seeing Ryan swinging a lot here. There's been a pick from Baldwin's on the Orisa. So as you've been saying, offense getting the first pick, then another pick on the Moira. But it's just equal trades, it's looking like, but they are on the point.
Right now Aquinas is up. No, now they're even. Obra is evened out the playing field, playing as McCree. Already has an ult at 3 minutes and 12 seconds in.
And
using it as a pressure to back up everybody.
Actually, I think it's Aquinas on defense, and we are on...
Yeah,
we're focusing on
that's
the
what's
wrong
happening
team.
right now. No, it's okay. Either side, it's red versus blue.
Yeah,
it's always an A versus B. We're here for both sides here.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, it seems that we're using Moira's Coalescence ability as an offensive ability. Thankfully, it goes through Mei walls, so that wasn't too effective.
I don't know if there is going to be a way for us to switch over to the Aquinas side. Hopefully, there is. Maybe it was just a mess up when we were getting into the spectation, joining the spectating side for the wrong team. But yeah, I apologize for my missed callouts. I'm sitting a little bit far away from the monitor. It's not that easy to read the kill feed, seeing the names with it.
Greetings! Hello! The enemy is here.
Alright, so we're gonna have Northwood waiting up here at the defensive line. Skull, she is placing amazing walls, just completely buying time for Aquinas, doing damage, knowing when to get into that self-healing phase, that defense. And they're going to be dropping a bongo here.
Right. So right now we're seeing a Sigma Orisa comp versus Ryan Zarya, I believe.
That's going to be a big pin. Hopefully the Sigma can get healed before he gets down, but no, the Junkrat's going to be launching his ult, picking off two. And now Reinhardt, he's got two people just completely backed off in the hallway. This is looking like bad news for Aquinas as he gets to Shatter. Definitely going to be looking to do it in the hall here. Lets it down, and that may be Northwood taking the point here, activating the payload.
Oh, we're trying to get a little bit more ult charge off the corner.
Yeah, they are going to hold on to that Shatter. I'm not sure what other ults they could have here. We're not really cycling through players much. Well, maybe for AQ's sake, they may go for a solo Shatter. That's all we can really hope for, or a missed one. Hopefully block it off the shield. So both teams definitely running the double shield meta here. Glad to see it has not changed that much overall. But instead of Reinhardt, it's going to be Aquinas playing on the Sigma. Baptiste is going to be dropping down his barrier, hopefully trying to take down everybody within that choke point there.
Right, so with this particular comp, Sigma's got to put a lot of damage output to deal with Reinhardt's shield and pressure.
And it does look like Northwood is going to move past first kind of choke in this S-shaped curve here.
May coming in with an ult to try to divide the team in half. Baptiste throwing down his emo field.
Right, definitely looks like the May ult there was successful, but it's going to be responded quickly by Junkrat's ult there. Amp going down, not able to use the bongo, and they're going to have to take out this Junkrat. He is just completely bullying, pressuring them all the way back into their spawn, opening up tons of area for Northwood to continue to be pushing in here.
See, with Orisa Sigma at the current meta, after the shield nerfs, Hanzo and Junkrat have some of the best shield break potential in the game. So, seeing both of their barriers goes down gives Ryan just an open playing field to put pressure on the DPS.
So do you know exactly what change came to Hanzo to give him such a good shield-breaking ability?
So it wasn't necessarily what changed about Hanzo, it's about what changed about the shields.
Okay.
Hanzo has this ability that allows him to shoot multiple arrows at once. They're now fixing him with a new update that's coming out, making his arrows do, instead of 60 damage, 40 damage. But it's still a lot for a shield to take, especially when it only has 900 health like Sigma or Orisa, 900 or 800 health. Sigma has the ability, Vortex, to kind of like compensate for some of the damage output that other tanks and other DPS can do, but he has to really use it in a defensive way, or else certain offensive abilities can overpower him.
Alright.
A third tire coming in.
Here. Actually, destroys the tire before... Oh, I thought it did. I spoke way too soon.
No, Genji got his revenge kill before. It seems that the DPS are really the highlights of this battle.
Yeah, every single tire that has been sent out has been a 2K. That is incredibly deadly. You know, even taking out one with a tire is good, because
a single
you can
pick
just shoot
can
it down.
entirely change the aspect of a battle,
right,
depending on who exactly gets picked off.
Exactly, yeah. AQ here at the last turn on the final point, they're going to be holding it with all that they got.
Far as putting a lot of pressure from as far away as she can.
I would imagine
playing the range game.
Swap into far as well. And it looks like we got a pharmacy, perhaps? Yeah, we do. It's going to definitely be a lot of damage output, a lot of healing. Rhyme striking down with the shatter. Thankfully, Vapor is one of the new players playing support. He's going to be getting a res up on our reset. They take down two picks. They're getting everybody. Genji taken down. Oh, I wish we could have seen that in a lot. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, a little bit of a better spectator view here, maybe from their side. A really interesting thing about Genji and their comp particularly is against a Junkrat that gets too close, Genji is just straight lethal. I think Obra made that switch with very good intent. The enemy team is, Northwood is actually having a really hard time dealing with these Orisa pulls.
Oh, for real, yeah. And
Reinhardt has to put a lot of pressure on that Orisa to get her to move, especially with her Fortify increase recently.
Right, and if they get the shields positioned well, they could definitely synergize the Orisa pull with the Genji's dash. As it dashes through multiple enemies, he's going to regain his dash and just deal a lot of damage there, building up his Dragon Lord.
Right, similar to the playstyle of Doomfist, going for those pulls to punches.
It looks like Northwood is finally chipping away at the AQ defense. They're going to be turning the corner again, but AQ spawning pretty soon. They're going to be held off by the Pharah flying up.
Yep, AQ has 30 seconds to try to get some kind of picks. The McCree is putting a lot of pressure on that Pharah. Hopefully they can stall this one out for an extra 18 seconds.
Holding it at 3.5 meters, AQ is just going to be trickling in. They just want to... If they can hold it, that is going to be amazing, but they are definitely going to be looking to buy it down to 0 seconds left, so it plays a lot better for them. And they just drop it. Just drop it.
Barely at 5 seconds, which is only going to be a little bit of a time increase, but those extra seconds are so vital at some points in this game.
It really is, and that was an incredible hold from Aquinas. As you saw, Northwood had an incredible amount of offensive pressure on the first point, and they carried that momentum all the way through the S-shaped choke right after the first gate on the first point, moving into the second point. And then when they got to the second half of the map, that's where AQ really started to step up. They should be feeling pretty warm right now, so as they go on to offense here, hopefully they can roll harder than Northwood was rolling.
Hopefully they can. The map that was just shown, the part of the map that was just shown, has some really interesting movement capabilities where if we start seeing some more mobile tanks, we might be able to see some jumping over the building style gameplay. But right now, shields still own the meta. It's really interesting. Reinhardt's shield has so much health compared to the other ones that sometimes the more mobile tanks can put pressure, but Reinhardt's so hard to move right now.
Yeah, he definitely is. It was a lot. I mean,
commences in 30 seconds.
it was pretty scary when Sigma had all that shield behind himself as well. But now Ryan is definitely looking like the main thing here with all of his shielding ability.
All right.
And
Well,
thankfully-
Reinhardt is sometimes the walking rectangle of a team. That's for certain. Sometimes his shield can be the whole aspect of the game, which can make Reinhardt gameplay pretty boring, or it used to be. Now with all of the other buffs to the other heroes that can offensively add on to Reinhardt's ability, it makes the gameplay of Reinhardt 20 times, 30 times more interesting.
Alright, will you be able to explain to us? We're finally on AQ's side, finally viewing our boys and girls. We are in the action that we want. A teleporter all the way up on top of the shield with a bastion. I was going to ask you, why are they going up there? But that...
So that was a strategy we used last semester on a particular team where we instantly took first choke. They went for a Winston strategy to bubble off the bastion, but the shield didn't land, making the play a little bit risky. But it seems as though their defense might hold out against them. Does not mean they're not going to get ult charge off of this, which will make
Right.
next team fight super vital.
Right, that was... I'm still thinking about that first play with the teleporter. That was so incredibly fat-brained, big-brained. My mind is blown. I love to see the creativity that Aquinas comes up with. And as you said, even though it may not result in capturing the first point, a lot of people have built up ult. Over's going to be changing to Genji. Skyhawk's going to be changing to Zarya. So a few of the heroes are going to be losing all the ult charge they built. A few are going to be keeping it.
Right. A really good strategy for playing against a Sigma or a high DPS output is to play Ryan Zarya, because Zarya gets nothing but value out of those high DPS maneuvers.
Right. Shielding him off and knowing,
Right.
like, if Ryan wants to take the front position, run in, tank damage, he knows he can be a little bit more safe with the Zarya bubble throwing on him.
Right.
Skyhawk...
G-Dragon trying to make a little bit of space to make that emo for Matrix get a little bit more value. Bob on the field putting lots of pressure. Just an overblown Torbjorn turret. Completely shreds the battlefield, giving Aquinas a really hard time through that first choke.
So we see Skull here swap to the Pharah. Are we going to see a Mercy switch as well to help pocket her, or is she going to be trying to be a little bit more evasive? I think
Hopefully,
not.
hopefully, if she plays her Pharah really well, that Ashe won't have enough to pressure her.
Right, I mean, it is a risky pick knowing that they've got a hit scan hero that can just easily take her down. That's going to be a kind of big shatter. Just
It was extremely big because it wasn't behind the shield, which means most of the Shatter's value was for Sigma. And he
Okay.
did confirm the kill, making that one extra pick and one
Okay.
less shield to deal with very, very necessary.
I appreciate
It also-
your gamer eyes seeing what I can.
Yeah, after playing this game for so long, and King's Row being one of the first maps introduced to the game, it has a lot of significance in the lore too. I find a lot of interest in this map. In fact, it's probably my favorite. In this particular part of the map, there's a building above that. It's called Hotel. It's the light place with the two lamps there.
Yeah.
There's the ability with some heroes to jump over that building, and I've seen a lot of gameplay of that. Going back to Aquinas here, it seems as though Reinhardt has a lot of pressure on his shield, and he just barely got out thanks to that Zarya bubble. Sometimes, when you're playing Zarya with a Reinhardt, making sure Reinhardt has the bubble
Right.
isn't always necessary, but making sure the person who goes in front of Reinhardt to maybe help with a little bit of DPS pressure has the bubble and can give that little bit of value to him.
Right, every time when I've played, and I've played
Oh
with
my
the
gosh,
Zarya-
a
Oh
beautiful
my.
fire strike by G-Dragon.
Just sniping down two, and sniping down their DPS, they're going to need to retreat from that, even if their tanks and support were still alive. That was just incredible to pick up the last guys.
Right, it actually fully charged his Shatter, or if it didn't, it was really, really close. An interesting thing about Reinhardt is that he has such a huge potential to get his Shatter in about 4 or 5 swings and one really good fire strike.
Right.
And having that ultimate as a basically an extra cooldown can be the difference of a victory and a loss.
Right now he's
They're comboing. Right now they're comboing ults trying to damage the shields, but McCree went for a really nice flank, making 2 of the ults kind of nullified. Moira's trying her best to get out of there, and another beautiful dragon, or a beautiful Reptire.
Yeah, it's just going to be a game of ults as they approach the first CP here. Would you call that the first CP, or would you call that second?
When particularly talking about payload maps, I like to call the ticks objectives. That's probably not the technical term of it, but I mean, you can kind of throw it out there, however. Particularly with this map, it's a payload map, so you want to move that objective, so to speak, but once you get to that point, I would say you're working that objective.
Okay.
Capture points in maps are a little bit different than the King of the Hill style of all the other maps. Right now, our Doomfist is putting a lot of pressure on them McCree, trying to get that desperate pick to keep from a shield break and picks on the Pharah.
And that was an incredible amount of healing on Ober there as he dove into all of Northwood. He got a few hits off on people, no confirmed kills, but he was kept alive so long considering how many bullets were thrown at him. And now Aquinas needs to back off here. Vaporous, incredibly low. Probably going to be looking for a full health pack unless he's going to decide.
He's actually probably going to save it because he has the ball to heal himself, or the other healer on the team can actually feed alt charge off of him. But McCree is putting up so much pressure right now.
Yeah,
if Pharah can get that early pick on McCree, it's basically a walkover.
Yeah, that is definitely what they need to respond to. And as you were just talking about, McCree pulling off a headshot right onto Skull there, but MCH Bunny, the saving grace, pulling Skull right back up.
Right. The enemy Mercy is doing a very beautiful thing by switching very rapidly, and I keep saying the enemy, my apologies. Northwood's Mercy is having a heyday out there with this McCree.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if Pharah is going to continue to be the best pick here. I know that it synergizes with Zarya so well, but Northwood's McCree is just incredibly clinical with his aim, incredibly precise, and it is downright terrifying to go up against.
Right, so interesting thing that our Zarya is doing right now is trying to hold the high ground and give herself a little bit of objective pressure. Beautiful attempt at holding the point by Skull.
Right, got onto the point at the very last second. Wanted to ult a lot bigger than that, but McCree, just incredibly fast thinking, throws the flashbang at her.
Doomfist doing everything he can to secure some kind of picks. And I think that is going to be game one. Beautiful push by both sides.
Yeah, incredible effort from Aquinas here. They definitely had the brains for what they wanted to do within this game. It was just they needed to perhaps prioritize who they needed to kill on Northwood. Like, had they taken out the McCree, a lot of the strategy that they were aiming for could have just decimated the Northwood, could have moved the payload a lot further.
Right. It seems that at the beginning with the wrong side spectator mode, it didn't affect anything in the game particularly. There wasn't any cheating or anything involved because the spectator arena is over here. Now that we're on the right side and everything is in track and we can see our own players, we're going to see a lot different style of communicating our what's going on in the game for this next round, because King's Row is one of those maps where every game will be different. Every game will be different. And we didn't see very much of it last round, but the environmental kills can be something on that map. But we won't see it this next round. Ilios.
Oh, man, you want to talk about environmental kills?
Ilios is the best map in the game for environmental kills. Lucio's, Roadhogs, Orissa's, just heydays with their crowd control abilities, just pulling people into pits, pulling people off edges. Some of the best plays in Overwatch ever were done on this map.
Not even just those three heroes. You've been seeing Skull play a lot of Pharah here. That is my favorite hero to play. I played a lot of Soldier in TF2. So she's got that rocket that can boot people. And Skull, newly picked up this semester, Masters level DPS. Very, very accurate, very deadly. If she plays Pharah here, I want to be seeing 3 or more environmental kills from her. That is my baseline.
Experience, we're gonna see at least a few. We have to. It's one of these. The well map in this map is just a big pit in the center, and all it is for Pharah is just putting that booster ability in between them and their tanks, and it just sends people off cliffs, into the pits, everything. This is one of my favorite maps to watch. Whenever I'm watching streams or everything, I really like Ilios, and I really like Temple of Anubis. There's not really any like environmental stuff on a Temple of Anubis, but there's a lot of flanks.
Oh yeah.
And Ilios actually has its share of flanks, but it's pretty overshadowed by the wells and environmental kills.
Right, now a lot of people tend to focus the environmental stuff as we go to the first map here.
Right, we're starting off on this map called Lighthouse, which has a really big building in the center, which is obviously a lighthouse. There's a few flanks into it, but everybody, once you're in the lighthouse, pretty much knows where you are. There's a lot of windows, places to see in.
Right, there's not much you can do to flank them other than if you get a hero that can get up really high. There is an open window right above the capture point there.
Yes, so it's one of the most interesting places for flanks in this map. We might see some of that. It really depends on what kind of hero roster. If we see a Pharah, expect that window to be a huge part of the gameplay here.
Yeah. I would expect that also seeing a Reaper with his Death Blossom dropping down. Okay, actually, we're not going to Lighthouse.
The screen showed Lighthouse, but we're actually going to Ruins, which this map has a large area on the right side, the entire right side, from Aquinas' point of view, of just a straight cliff. You'll probably see some environmental kills, but not all that much.
Right. People don't tend to go near the cliff very much unless they are desperate for the big health pack that is right on the edge of it.
Oh yeah, it makes it very tempting, very alluring for that side. Ruins has a very high sniper potential. It's all about range on this map, I would say. And seeing on our side, we have a Pharah and a Widow, which means straight damage from anywhere on the map. As you can see, Pharah's rockets are just going across, shredding those shields before they even see each other.
Exactly, yeah. If Aquinas decides to go left or right, they are going to be able to shoot down on site in the middle of the CP here. Sure, you got a few columns that can block your line of view, but that's nothing a few feet to your left or right can't handle it. Baldwin's going to be getting the first pick on here, actually taking off Obra, and then
they got the res, but Skull got a pick to compensate. It seems as though they were even for a second there, but that Zenyatta has so much pressure on that Pharah. Zenyatta being one of the most underrated heroes in the game, but takes a very high skill gap. Zenyatta requires a lot of dive and communication potential to know where your Discord lies.
Right, in the Discord orb, if you guys do not know, it's one of the attacks that Zenyatta has. He throws an orb onto one singular opponent, and it increases all damage dealt to them. So if you're effectively communicating with your team and you all focus someone who's Discorded, you can wipe them out probably 3 times faster than normal.
Right. It's very important to realize, too, that little purple dot that hangs above, as you can see from our Pharah here, that just increases all damage done to her.
And that's going to
Mercy saved the res just for Pharah.
And now Genji and Skull completely popping off here. It is going to be a very quick turn. Aquinas getting a team kill and taking the CP back before Northwood could even get up to 0.5%. That is absolutely huge.
Right at the beginning there, Reinhardt landed a very important charge on them, and I think that really pressured all of their tanks back and pushed them to a point of which Skull could actually do damage.
Right, HQ's definitely not going to want to continue to fight on the point. They're going to want to stay pushed up into this probably 2/3 of the map. They're going to want to hold Northwood where they can't even see the CP. They don't want anyone to sneak by. They're taking all the team fights here.
Exactly. Skull is just having a heyday on the Sigma and Baptiste in the back, even though sometimes Baptiste can be a big of a counter. It seems the Skull does not care as they clean up house in the back line, separating the team into 2.
Right, Skull incredibly smart holding on.
Obra just feeding ult charge off the Baptiste until he fills his ult.
Discorded or not, Obra not going to get hit. Genji, dashy boy, jumpy boy getting all out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Genji is so hard to hit on some of these characters. Right now they're playing the standard Ryan Orisa comp, I believe. And Genji can just be a nuisance sometimes with that because Fire Strike and all of those offensive pushes. But no, wait, they're actually playing Sigma, my apologies. Obra can't really deflect the Roth, but Genji still has the ability to reflect his primary fire, which can be huge. Oh no, Farah got caught in the Sigma ult. It means she's going to take half of her health in damage.
That
Does not matter.
A big ult. Completely taking down Orisa's shield. Although it does not get any kills, Orisa needs to regen on that shield. So they're going to be relying completely on Sigma's shield here. It's going to be a big fight. Skyhawk dropping down low on health. Obra doing what he can, but the McCree on Northwood's side, incredibly accurate again. Dangerous.
Very, very dangerous. McCree, if left unattended, can just straight up shred. As you can see, hard counter to Farah. In fact, I would say the hardest counter to Farah. And his stun ability, it's just one of the cheesiest things in the game for getting picks. I mean, on the deathmatch style gameplay in this game, where you just kind of 1v1 a group of 20, or a group of 10, I'm sorry, that stun to fan the hammer can just insta-kill any target in the game. Most tanks, I mean, just a little bit of extra damage that McCree's got pressure.
And if your fan the hammer doesn't work, if you did not know, when you roll as McCree, doesn't it automatically reload you as well, so you can just go and fan again?
Right, the McCree gets another high noon and gets those extra secured picks on the healers. Ober doing his very best to just clutch out.
Taking very good picks, focusing the McCree, focusing the Zenyatta. They're going to leave Squishy
Ober
and
is just not letting up, using the heals, trying to do every bit of damage he can, and if they can come back and secure a few more kills, it looks like that's going to be the first round. Very close game, though, 94 to 100. It would have just took one more cap, and that would have been game.
Yeah. King of the Hill is a best of 3. Northwood taking the first point here. Aquinas needs to reverse sweep them here.
Right, now this is the well map I was talking about earlier with the large pit in the center, where Farah really shines. Lots of flanks on this map, though, which means that McCree might be a little bit sneakier than we're hoping for here.
Yeah, we're still seeing Orisa, hopefully going to get some big pulls. Skull staying on Farah, hopefully going to get some boops.
Right, Farah just anxious to get out there and show what she can do. I've played a lot of rounds with Skull, and seeing her Farah is just a breath of relief. It reminds me of old Overwatch when the combo is just getting to be well known.
Yeah. Now, Pharmacy, tried and true combo.
I'm talking about right at the beginning of the game, like when Mercy's healing was just ridiculous with the full team reses and whatnot.
Yeah.
You had a Mercy every game.
That's back when I played. I missed that. I missed that huge res.
Right. Right now they're playing Hog Orisa, which is pretty standard for this map, and Aquinas is playing Orisa Reinhardt, which Orisa is super good on this map because of those environmental pulls.
Yeah, everyone's standing relatively close here. Roadhog not standing near enough to the well, pulls Orisa in.
No, but Skull does get her first boop kill with Mercy, increasing that range just a little bit with that damage boost that she does.
Right, and thankfully
Farah has her ult already before any points on the any clicks on the point have been made.
And that is going to be big taking off the Mei, because if AQ were to keep going down here, the Mei could easily wall them off, easily knock off 5 seconds, having them or forcing them to go left or right to continue to get back on the point. But it's going to be AQ grabbing the first points here.
Right, that Ana might be a little bit of trouble for this Farah, because that first shot is pretty much untraceable and unblockable if Ana gets a scope on her. Does not matter, because Skull does not need close range to do a lot of work. She's already doing damage from pretty much across the map. Roadhog desperately trying to get a hook on her.
She's got those eagle eyes. She can see them all the way away, predict where they're going to move, and perfectly aim that rocket. Already getting her barrage again.
It's incredible. It's only at 35%, and she's had 2 barrages, and she's about to flank.
Potentially be huge.
Oh my god, first pick. If she can get out, that was huge, huge value.
Yeah, she knew exactly.
They're moving in to try to confirm any kills.
Incredibly smart flanking on the right there, taking off the McCree.
They might be down 1, but they still have a lot of opportunity to come back from this. As long as that Mei doesn't put too much pressure on Orion. Oh, they used the Shatter, but it just wasn't fast enough.
Right. Northwood's McCree has definitely felt like the backbone of their team, so taking him out could send some panic to the team.
Right. That emo field is huge. She's trying to play to the environment, keeping them out of sight, but it seems like it's not going to work. Baptiste has a lot of damage output, and that Ana is just not helping.
Right, and although AQ is most likely going to be giving up the point here, I am more than sure we have tons of ults. We have the Valkyrie, Orisa close to the bongos, and I know I saw one more ult that was really close. Yeah, MCH's Bunny, she's got the Coalescence, so 2 support ults and then a damage ult for everyone. This could be the push they need to take them over and quickly tap the point again and take round 2.
Right. Our Mercy's not letting our Pharah go down yet. Mei using her ult, trying to put a little bit of space in between each team. Orisa being frozen is going to be a huge disadvantage, but she seems to have survived.
Skull's
our healers are down.
Again, picking off the Baptiste and not quite getting anyone else. Equal trade though.
Orisa has very low health. If they can put just a little bit of pressure, they might be able to take this back as long as that Roadhog doesn't make any ground. And that's what the Roadhog wants, actually, is for them to push up as far as possible so he can land that Precious hook.
Yeah. Precious indeed.
I mean, when I play Roadhog on this map, it's a hit or a miss for me. I could either never land a hook or land all of my hooks. It's just...
Over's going to be going in absolutely huge, but Baptiste dropping the Immortality field. He is catching people outside of it, though.
Right, with the recent nerf to Baptiste's field, it's like you have to be putting it behind barriers for it to get the maximum amount of value.
Oh yeah.
Playing natural cover with it, so to speak.
And AQ sneakily took the point back here, only 5 ticks away from getting it. They're very successfully holding back Northwood here. This could spell great news for AQ.
It seems as that Ober's holding up the front lines, not letting anybody pass, and Skull was just putting that downward eagle-like pressure.
An absolute trooper, willing to give his own life for the team, holding everyone back. And AQ on the right track, on pace to reverse sweep Northwood here and take game 2.
Alright, and now this is the Lighthouse map we were talking about at the very beginning of this particular round.
And as we see a swap to Symmetra, I'm pretty sure we're going to see something very similar to what happened on King's Row here as Skull switches back to the Bastion. So potentially, do you know where they're going to be placing this portal?
I do. I actually have ran through what they're about to go through a few times, and it's one of my favorite strategies for this map, actually. I'm going to leave it a little bit of a surprise for you, but I will say it's all vital about how they do this next point and how fast that they get there.
Yeah, everybody
to give a little
cross
bit of
your
spoilers.
fingers. If this goes as planned, this is going to be... This is
Immediate
just gonna be
setup on point, giving an extra 5 seconds. Moira going down, but that doesn't seem to make much of a difference because Moira has a lot of recoverability.
Right, looks like they were walled off, but it's not going to do too much except take MCH money out. We still have one
No, but we're
support
actually
point.
even in picks right now because of the Orisa shield and Reinhardt shield keeping that Bastion up in the air. Mei just keeps trying to put up a wall to stop him, but she has all of the damage in the world right now.
Now, when you see a strategy like this, are you going to call it smart or are you going to call it cheap when they run Bastion?
So, Bastion's one of those characters that has always been, like, gimmicky. You kind of have to play pretty...
Controversial.
Yeah, pretty strange with them, but I think any strategy to win is a vital one.
Yeah.
Even if they're playing against a Baptiste right now with an Immortality field, which can negate a lot of Bastion's actual value. So as long as they land that right and Mei doesn't get too close, the Bastion will hold.
Right.
But all they have to do is get in close.
You got to remember, this isn't quick play. This is as competitive as it gets. This isn't ranked.
This is collegiate level
tournament.
esports, and every bit of advantage counts.
Right now, these players are here to win, and they're going to be absolutely flourishing and cheering if they pull off the win here. Northwood has not even been able to step a foot on point.
Exactly. This is the definition of bunker car wash. So there's a lot of weird terminology Overwatch uses, and as you can see, the turrets on the inside just do that little bit of plinking damage. Does not matter though, because Northwood is going to eventually make it in there. But Aquinas has a lot more up their sleeve for this particular map.
Okay.
Because Aquinas lost the first round, they get choice on second map, which Ilios was their choice, which means they have a lot in the bag for this particular round.
Right. These guys have been in the lab hours and hours, just absolutely practicing, perfecting their strategies. They know exactly what they want to do and how to do it. Skull getting a huge pick on the Junkrat.
Right, she knows how to use her range of Pharah to do a lot of damage. And if she can land her boost off ability here, it's going to be huge, killing that Baptiste.
Yeah, she's getting low, but Vaporous staying
I think she's
on her
trying to
pocket.
feed her ult as much as possible. But Baptiste, like I said, just puts a lot of pressure on Pharah. He is a DPS with a healing ability, I would say.
Right, yeah.
defeat makes me
I mean, would you say
stronger.
he's more DPS than Moira, though? Because I always see Moira players with the gold damage.
See, Moira has the McCree problem I was talking about earlier of being really good on the 1v1, but you got to play her as a team character if you're going to be on the team. You have to focus more on heals.
Yeah.
With Baptiste, though, it's a gun.
Yeah, it's
Like-
got some range.
Yeah, the ability to absorb health, like the vampiristic ability, is really interesting, but it does not match Baptiste's ability to shred shield and really put pressure on the game.
And AQ absolutely needs to take the point here as Northwood is ticking on up.
Right.
If they fail to push here, they're
Ults
going
are
to be
being pushed.
rushed.
Right now, Baptiste is just popping off Baldwin's with the triple. Skull doing everything she can to match that damage output.
And she's going to get down. And as I said, if they fail the team push here, now they are going to be in a complete panic
Right.
to get back. They
We
need
hear-
one person on point.
Right, we hear right now that there is a wrecking ball and dive heroes are in place. They're D.Va, the fastest tanks in the game. They're trying their best to get back to point.
And thankfully, I don't know if you could see the outline, but the Doomfist was able to manage to get on point just to initiate overtime here. And this is going to be the absolute final fight, and it is looking like Northwood potentially going to take it, and that is going to be game 2 in the series to Northwood.
That's game 2 in the series.
GG's to everyone. Incredible work from Aquinas.
We've seen a lot of new things come from Aquinas, and this just says nothing but good things for the future. Excellent job by Northwood. Does the chat have any questions before we wrap it up here?
Well, all I can say is for the first game of GLEC for Aquinas, they definitely came out swinging. They came out strong. They came out big-brained. In Northwood, definitely one of our rivals. It would have been great to take a win from them, but we know how strong they are in competition. They are strong in Rocket League, they are strong in Overwatch, and they are strong in League.
Right. There's a lot to take away from an Overwatch game. A single ultimate can decide the fate of a whole game, and it just came down to using those ults as preciously as possible. There's a few aspects to the game that I think Aquinas is going to look over and really take into heart. I'm seeing a lot of upgrades, actually, from last semester. The team is playing together as a ball.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really vital in Overwatch that you have your teammates' backs, and we're seeing a lot of that this semester.
Right, there's definitely a lot of trust in what everyone wants to be doing here. A lot more effective communication.
Right, we've seen
probably
a lot more ultimate combos too.
Yeah.
With the Pharah to Zarya, with the Coalescence pushes, with Reinhardt shatters. It was really, really nice to see that coordination.
Yeah, definitely probably a lot more close with each other as teammates, a lot less probably bickering. And, you know, even though AQ did take the L here, they're not going to let it get to them. If you don't get the win, it's definitely a learning opportunity. They're going to be looking back at this. Take a look. What went wrong? What could we improve? How are we going to take the next win?
Right, as any excellent team does. I mean, making use of everything the game gives you is super vital. Like the environmental kills we were talking about earlier, making sure you know the micros of the abilities. And even though we didn't see a win from Aquinas, they're really starting to understand that particular aspect of the game. And we're seeing nothing but improvements on our side of the field here.
Yeah, just don't get tunnel vision. This game is like 4D chess. You got to be way ahead of your opponents.
Right, you're always planning up your next move, and everything can change with a simple pick.
All right, and with that, I think we are going to end the stream. We will see you guys next week.